Do you have any idea how maple syrup is made? Neither do I, but it just so happens I live just a few hours away from Vermont, which has the best maple syrup in the world. Let's take a field trip. Don't forget to smack that like button. So we are en route to the maple farm, and as the people we're going to visit keep saying, it's a beautiful day for sugaring. In the spirit of what we're about to do, Benny also got me this mousse lollipop, which is of course maple flavored. Because all of us use and eat maple syrup, but none of us really seem to know how it's made, I am super excited for this one.
Nick Neville.
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Nice to meet you. So in Vermont, sugar is like a verb, it's an adjective, it's a noun. So we are sugar makers and we sugar, which means to make maple syrup.
It's called sugaring.
Sugaring, yeah. Back in the day, maple syrup was a substitute for granulated sugar.
Normally Vermont is frigid, but it's 46 degrees.
Yeah.
It's warm today.
It's an ideal day for sugar makers, which is to say a really disgusting day for everybody else.
Should we do it?
Yeah, come on in.
Is that all syrup?
Just syrup. So we generally do over 700 barrels of maple syrup a year.
Man, look how small I am compared to all these barrels. Actually, you should probably not stand close in case one of them falls in my head. We went inside and met Mary, who would first be taking us into the forest on these insane looking off-roading vehicles to show us how to tap a tree. They're like mini tanks.
We got one there?
Yeah. Bye, Manny.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Thanks for taking us up. So these black lines right here, they're tubes?
Yep, so these are our conductors. The conductors are what go down to the sap house, carrying the sap.
That's cool. Look at all the tubes, man. You know how many trees you have tapped?
We have about 70,000.
70,000 trees. Crazy. That's a lot. Crazy. That's a lot. All right, we made it up the mountain. Now we're gonna go find a nice, healthy tree to tap and get some syrup.
So as you're coming up to a tree to tap it, you're looking it up and down as you're coming up to it. The crown is where it branches out at the top. The crown looks pretty healthy. There's no dead spots. So these trees have been tapped before.
That's what she said.
So what we're looking for is for old tap holes. And then we want to be at least 4 inches away from the old tap hole. Tap hole would be up here. If I was to tap right next to this old tap hole, we would not get nearly as much sap. And eventually it would become a leak.
How deep is it?
A little over an inch. So, found my spot. There's no dead tap holes. It's looking pretty healthy here. So this is where I'm gonna drill it.
I can handle myself.
That was it?
That was it.
I thought it was gonna be like a lot longer than that.
That's what she said.
So I've got my spout. I'm gonna put it in the hole that I just drilled.
Oh, got hit in the face with some sap in the eye.
I'm gonna put some sap in your eye.
So now I'm gonna attach my drop.
And there's suction at the end of that tube right there because it's getting sucked all the way to the base. And then this giant, crazy, like blue infrastructure of tubes is just going all the way down to
Yep.
the base with tons of sap.
Well, hopefully tons of sap.
Hopefully tons of sap. So that's as fast as it comes out, that drip right there.
It depends on how warm it is. So if it was really cold out here, it wouldn't be running.
Should I try it?
Go for it. Just don't put your mouth on the spout.
All right, Manny, I'm gonna try it straight from the source, okay? Oh, I didn't get any. I missed it. Ah.
Is it good?
How's it taste?
It's super, super diluted. It tastes basically like water. It's a little sweet though. Now we're going back down to the sugar house, and all of that sap that drips down and goes down through the tube is gonna be down there waiting for us, and we can turn it into syrup. Genuine question, if you were to pee out here, which I'm sure people have, would it go into the syrup?
No.
You sure? For
And,
reference,
you know.
I thought about peeing. I'm holding it, Manny, because I got nervous about that. So tens of thousands, if not more, of these tubes all lead into just these couple. And
Yeah,
then-
this year we have approximately 86,000 taps up
Wow.
there. Eventually comes down to these tubes right here, which goes right into the basement of our sugar house.
Next, we headed to the basement to continue following the tubes of sap. Wow, what the heck? So this is the vacuum system?
Yes.
So basically, this whole system right here is what creates the suction for all those tubes to pull this sap down to the base.
And those are the blue tubes that you saw outside.
Wow.
The other thing to see down here is the reverse osmosis machine. Those are the machines that take the excess water out. Saudi Arabia uses them to create drinking water. They want the water.
Oh,
We
you're
want
right.
the opposite. When the sap comes in, it's going to be between 1 and 3% sugar. We want to take out as much water as possible, so when we go to boil it, it's much more efficient.
They look expensive.
They are.
Don't let Manny near those. He will break them.
Man, you don't get near those.
So we saw them, the top tree gets sucked in by these, comes into the building, and then what's next?
So then it goes over to the tank room. This is the tank room. This is where we collect the sap and store it actually once it's been through the reverse osmosis as well.
When we walked into the tank room, I couldn't believe what I saw. These are huge tanks.
These are 6,700 gallon tanks. There's 10 of them. And when the sap is really running, you can see they've got an overflow system here because we can't keep up with them. Like they just fill so quickly.
That tiny little drip that we saw coming out of that one tree just adds up that much.
86,000 drips altogether.
So the taste of this should be what? Light maple water?
Yeah, light maple water, exactly. You get a tiny piece.
It tastes like sweet tree water. It would be really fun to go swimming in this, honestly.
It probably is about 40 degrees.
So it just stopped pulsing on and off. Oh.
Yeah, it's not running that strongly today. When it's really running strongly, that'll just keep going.
Just gush all day.
And all night. Sugaring is a 24-hour deal.
That's crazy. Anytime we're cooking and we say we're gonna reduce something, we're taking out all the water content to make a thicker syrup, like a red wine reduction with steak, right? And that's what you're doing with this, you're reducing it. If we had this whole bin filled, do you know how many bottles you get out of that right now?
This makes 1 barrel.
1 barrel. So that's a big difference. All right, so after these are filled, where do we go?
After this, we're gonna boil the concentrated sap down to 0. So this is our boiler. It used to be in the basement of a hospital.
And for scale, Manny, it's a big boiler.
The boiler creates steam. We actually use steam in order to make our maple syrup. Used to be there would be a fire right underneath the pan. That's a great way to like burn your pan. You don't have control with wood very
So
easily.
this is the way to do it if you have 86,000 taps.
We have 86,000 taps. We use steam and the flavor is awesome. So steam comes into these guys and these will go directly into the pan. Steam goes in those rods.
When you're cooking and you look away from the pan and you're reducing something and it goes too far, it burns. Does that ever happen?
Not if you're using steam. Steam is only 216 degrees, so you can't burn anything.
And it smells fantastic in here. The flow of syrup whipping out of here in my face. It smells really good. So from the boiler, it pumps steam into these tubes, and then all that sap is being fed into this giant mechanism here. Steam is being pumped into it, heating it up a ton.
It comes right off of the evaporator, and we do have to taste it all the time to make sure it's exactly where we want it to be.
Do you get sick of it a little bit?
No.
Never.
Nope, the flavor changes like every day, and in fact it can change from the morning to the night. Maple syrup generally starts at the beginning of the season lighter and goes darker towards the end of the season. Lighter would get like a lot more apple to it, a lot more honey flavors to it, whereas the darker you got toffee and caramel.
Yummy. So at the end, you can literally just, you pull this lever and it goes into the barrel.
When it reaches the right density, it comes out and then we filter it and it produces that beautiful clear amber color. And then it goes into a barrel and we're done.
Can we go try some?
Absolutely. This is, we call it Sugar Maker's Cut because it's basically the best syrup of the year that the sugar maker keeps for himself
Right
and
there.
his family.
And I can just take a nice spoonful of this.
That's the way we roll in Vermont. Every morning we wake up,
This is amazing.
just do a shot of maple syrup.
It smells really good. It's so much different than most syrup that you have. Most syrup I feel like is so heavily diluted now with all sorts of crap. I feel like the best way I can describe it is just super pure. You could just drink the bottle. It's that good. Something about it.
There's something about it.
It's not just sweet. There's complexity
Yeah, there's
to
complexity.
it. There's a whole lot going on.
It's hard to describe just how special it is to try syrup like that. It's a treat. Is this little thing right here?
That's the Samara, which is the seed of the maple.
I've never known what these things are. They're everywhere. I always used to like to break them apart when I was a kid.
Yeah, put them
'cause
on
they're-
your nose.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorites. This is the cardamom infused. Essentially, that's awesome
Whoa.
in cocktails.
It's really cool. It's really cool. It's really good.
This is the one that has been blowing people away. We actually have a collaboration with Whistle Pig Whiskey. And so this has been aged in a whiskey barrel for about 6 to 9 months.
Wow, that smells so good. That is insane. You want some, Manny?
Yeah,
That
it tastes
on-
like a banana foster.
So that on ice
That's
cream.
that's my favorite one.
Good, all right.
Let's try this. That's amazing. It works so well together. It really reminds me of Bananas Foster.
So if you want to try one more,
Yeah.
this is a smoked chili pepper. I don't know if you've ever heard of Merken. It's a chili pepper blend out of Chile. Very spicy.
Oh, wow. Okay. Get ready, Nick. I'm getting better with my spice, so this is good.
Are you a spice fan?
I used to be like a level 1, as in like I could have no spice, and I would say I'm like a level 4.5, 5 now. Oh, I like that. It is spicy though, man. Super creative.
So this is Cabot Seriously Sharp. A lot of people know that like honey is really good on cheese, but maple syrup is also amazing. So this is our smoked maple. We do not add smoke flavor. We literally put smoke through it. Sort of looks like we have a little meth project going in the backyard.
Anything smoked to me, if it's done right, is just
Yeah.
awesome. Especially when you could tell that they just didn't use liquid smoke, when there's actual wood that was used. It's so good. Minnie, look at this. It's sparkle syrup. That is cool.
It's pure maple syrup with edible glitter.
And you already know I'm gonna have a pancake party with Manny later for this.
I was gonna make you a margarita with that, and we call that margarita the shimmy.
I like that.
We're gonna do 1 shot of tequila, 1 shot fresh lime juice, and you can do between a half and 1 shot sparkle maple syrup. Check out the glisten in that.
Manny plus tequila. Crazy combination. I've seen it in action. Not good. It is sparkling. That is really cool. It's really good. It's also so cool that it's sparkling. I think the drink is a good example of why you should use maple syrup a lot instead of sugar. You don't have to make the simple syrup. You get like those extra nice little flavors by doing nothing. It's amazing. I've never eaten that much syrup in my life.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm great. Yeah. Thank you so much for that whole thing. I thought I had at least a little bit of a sense of how it worked, and when you actually look at it, obviously it's more complex.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And we are headed back home with lots and lots of maple syrup, so thank you so much.